Hey, what's going on, guys? Double One Eight Set Shadow here. So for today's Market Watch, we're going to be looking at singles as usual, and in addition, we're going to be reviewing staples such as your base triggers, your over triggers, and your perfect guards, just to get an idea of where prices are at for those in general. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. We're going to start with Rogue Headhunter today, which is a triple rare from set 2. This is Zorga support, where it gets 5k if you played an order, and then it reduces your counterblast for Alchemagic if it's played for the turn. 11 and 12 listings for the triple and special parallels. When we look at overall prices, $4+ for the triple R and basically $6-7 when it comes to the SP. Not too sure if you'll end up playing too many copies of this with Zorga Mask, but it is higher than $1 in terms of a triple R, so just keep that in mind if you are looking to pick these up for tech options or trying it out. Frenzied Harris, the front trigger for Stoichia. We're looking at low listings on both the SP and the holo foil, and the holo foil is something I really wanted to call out here, as with the 2 listings left and the sales that happened recently, it's been selling for $10 recently, and there are only 2 listings as high as $13 right now. So if you wanted the holo foil of this card, it's up in price, and if you wanted to sell this, you could probably put it up for a good amount and it will sell. As for the SP, we're looking at 2 listings as well. 56 is the low right now. Last sell was $60, 2 copies. And then the highest listing right now is basically $70. So, yeah, this card finally went gone after being neglected for so long. I guess with Stoichia getting more popular in Japan, players are really just starting to pay attention to this one. But when it comes to the rares, they're still under $4 right now. So you still have some time to pick them up. But Festival Collection is reprinting this trigger as well as the other effect triggers, so we might see a decrease in value as time goes. But that depends on how many actually get printed. But I also want to call out Cardinal Draco Impero as a, what now? It's a $5 to $7 card base, and the holofoil is very similarly priced to those two. The SP is base 51 right now, and in particular I wanted to call this out because of new card support that Bushiroad announced today for set 11, which will actually find a big boon for front triggers. Effectively, the new concept of this new ride line is that the Vanguard can equip rear guards to itself, and in doing so, it links their power to itself. Because they are also linked to the Vanguard as if they were also on the Vanguard circle, it basically ups the power of front triggers. So, if your opponent attempts to 2-pass you with what would normally be a 2 to pass, if you front trigger them, it actually breaks it because it powers up the Vanguard plus the 2 equipments, links all their powers together, and therefore makes a 30k boost to the Vanguard instead of just the regular 10k boost. It's almost like Leonorn, where if you boost one of the boosters, Leonorn will also get boosted. And that's just a generic concept where if you boost something, it's a continuous effect. So if the boost power changes or the boost disappears, then the Vanguard's power changes in respect to that. So just pay attention to Impero, as I could see it go up further in value. And given that the triggers are not likely to be reprinted heavily, we could see some pretty sticky value there. Spiritual Body Condensation has been more on a fallout, as I haven't been seeing too many decks play it as much, and it is actually falling out in terms of its market price and listings. The rare of this is now $2, although we're running out of listings on that cheap front, then we go to $6. But when we actually look at sales, we're only looking at about $30 tops on this one. I suppose with Dim Darkness getting more popularity because of the flexibility to put something into your drop, this one's just not getting as much attention these days. There are 16 listings on the SP now. There didn't used to be that many, and it's holding at around $18. We take a look at actual sales for that. $15-ish. That's been the typical price point of this card, and it's also fallen out in terms of its market price as of late. Urnful Magic Esunono. Excuse me. This card is from set 4 and is Hexorb support, where you discard a card to look at the top 2 of your deck, choose up to 2 cards from among them to put on top, put the rest on the bottom, and then this unit gets 10k. Wanted to call out the holo foil for this one, as it's been seeing an uptrend in value as of February, and it's been selling for $1 to $3 depending. And most of the copies on the market are all $1 before shipping. So keep that in mind. It is the holo foil version. It has a common, which is still easily accessible, but if you're looking to bling Hexorb and you're playing this card, just keep in mind that it is rising. Diaglass Sorceress, another Hexorb support card, similar to Yearnful, where it checks the top 2 of your deck, but it calls the cards and then puts the rest on the top. But it costs a counterblast in addition to the discard. It's a grade 1 compared to Yearnful being grade 2, and currently listings are about 50 cents to $1 when it comes to the double rare, but there are low quantities for the low-end listings. Same goes for the SP, where we don't have much quantity on the low-end listings, and it's $5 when you consider shipping. So, still not bad if you want to bling out Hexorb, as Aquamarine is coming once set 10 drops in June? Or was it July? It's coming up, just keep that in mind. Sylvian Hornbeast Leoka from set 4, the holofoil of this one. And as for the skill, it's retire this unit to give a rearguard 10k. It's Stoichia, and that's a main phase skill. But we're looking at listings sell for 50 cents to $1 these days, and the market price is creeping upward. Most listings available are also 50 cents to $1. So if you're looking to have this card in foil, it is rising, but at least it's still $1 to pick up. And it's a nice generic to consider holding on to as a playset. It has a common version as well, so don't worry too much on that front, as that's still plenty available. Signe is a card from Lyrical Set 2. This is a Herminia support card. I wanted to call out the SP of this one. Full name is Burgeoning Tones Sig. But I wanted to call on the SP that there are only 2 copies of this left at $10. And then taking a look at its actual sell prices, it's been selling for $5 to $6. Ultimately, it's a guaranteed way to empty out your soul for Herminia if you are not able to empty it out. But it does cost a counterblast as well, so you do have to pay attention to that, as Herminia is kind of delicate in making sure you don't have any resources to be able to play it effectively, which is kind of contradictory, but that is how the deck plays. The May promos have been put up on TCG Player, and we're going to go over Mobile Kennel Garden, which is a Wellstra support card. It's a product. Basically, when this card is operated, you can call it as a 10k, and then when it's put from hand or soul into the drop, you can put it into the order zone or the soul. So effectively, you can just throw it into the order zone, or you can fill it as soul if you're intending to use Fryhot later. As for price, though, we're looking at $35 minimum over here. I'd shop around for this one. It's pretty high priced for just coming up onto TCG Player, and I'm pretty sure the foil is also very loftily valued as well. So I'd shop around and see if you can get this cheaper. But if you really need this for BCS, that's a different story. I can't imagine you running more than one, though. That's it for the singles. Now we're going to take a review of staples, starting with set 1 triggers. It's still just going to be crits and heals for the most part, as when you take a look at draws and fronts, there really isn't any change in their values. They're still relatively cheap. But when we look at triggers, let's see, Dark States and Brandgate are pretty high up right now, and then you've also got Cater Sanctuary when it comes to Disma, the crit trigger. But the Cardinals are sitting at $3 to even $6 in terms of available listings. And then Flinty Slasher for Dark States is over $3 right now for its base common. I'm only looking at the commons at this point. I'm not even looking at the foils. Those are a different story entirely. Abyss Temptation for Stoichia, its crit trigger, is available for under 50 cents, but then you have to consider shipping as well. Circulating Sorceress, which is a heal trigger for Cater, under $1, but then you have to consider shipping, of course. Then when it comes to the Dragon Empire ones, they are pretty cheap, given that Basagra reprinted these in its trial deck. And as I mentioned, front end draws, nothing to worry about on that front. I won't be going over Lyrical today, as I won't be able to cover that much, but let's continue with the main 5. We're looking at set 6 versions right now, with Star Aggression Dragon going way down in price from what we talked about before. Market price is still closer to $3, but we have 17 listings back on the market, so it is falling out. Dual Pressure Dragon is a call out though, as it's 9 listings, 50 cents base. It's the crit trigger for Stoichia from set 6. And yeah, it's just surprising that it's that low on listings at this point. I mean, artwork-wise, it's a pretty cool card, so not too surprising that people want it, but I didn't think it would sell out that hard. The remaining triggers for set 6 are all pretty cheap, though, including the crits and heals. We're looking at basically 10 to 25 cents a piece, depending on them for Dragon Empire, Dark States, and Cater Sanctuary, all across the board. So, set 6 is still the bargain area, but of course, Brandgate is still difficult to obtain no matter where you look. Over triggers. Eldo Breath right now is the most expensive, sitting at over $18. Then you got Bless Favor in second place for about $16 plus, and the set 1 version only has 3 listings left. Dragveta is the next one up at about $9 to $10. I'm a little surprised that this one has been holding out as long as it has, but it has a lot of listings available, so that's good to see. Then you've got the Cater Sanctuary Amitenora version, which is the over trigger on this one is basically $5 right now. And then Galmaged for Dark States, $4. Lyricals, under $1 for each of their over triggers from set 1. And then Ragnarok just happens to be on here, which is also under $1. Not sure why Shaman King doesn't show up here. I thought there was an OOR, because I'm filtering it by OOR. But I can't imagine it being too far off. Then we go for Perfect Guards, looking at set 1. Violate Dragon and Recusal Hate Dragon for Brandgate and Dark States respectively are high price, and Recusal Hate's running out of listings. These are only the rares, by the way. I'm only looking at the rares. So $5 for Recusal Hate, and then $4 for Violate, and then you gotta add shipping, of course. But the remaining 3, Aegis Meyer, Twin Buckler, and Planar Prevent, are all under $3 before shipping, and still have a fair amount of quantities. And then finally we look at set 6. Planet Wall Dragon and Palladium Zeal are still the highest, but then Repellent Malice Dragon is at a market price of $2. That would be Brandgate, Cater Sanctuary, and Dark States, respectively. Then Custodial Dragon and Sparkle Reject are the only ones with a market price under $2. And in terms of actual listings, Planet Wall is the only one that has a $2 base listing. There's still plenty of quantities for each of these, so prices will stay relatively stable until the reprints from Festival Collection start to affect the market. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys later.